Oh, hi folks. You sort of caught me there. I was dashing between the phone screen and the teacup. I think I'm right in saying, excuse me, I think I'm right in saying that this is the first bit of video we've recorded since the workshop here in the what we will call Violent Talk Sport headquarters was put in about a week ago. Once again, my sincere thanks to Declan Lynch and the lads in Rehab Care in Dunboyne, who very quickly and very efficiently and very cost efficiently as well, may I say, have produced a setup that is beyond anything myself or Susie could have expected or hoped for. But on a personal level, look, there's been a lot going on the last week or 10 days or whatever it is, and I haven't been out here half as much as I should have been, and I will openly admit to the whole world that the good lady herself had to do a fair bit of persuading to get me out tonight, because with the things that were going on here at home, I don't mind admitting that a little belt of depression had begun to park itself again, and I don't know about any of you else out there who may be struck down with the cursed thing, but I know with me, when it hits, it just puts me into a rut of not wanting to go anywhere or do anything of the sort. But you know, with a little bit of pushing and prodding and reassuring and the like, she has got me out as far as the shed. As some of you will, I hope, have seen from the video we posted on the Violent Talk Sport YouTube channel last night, we got the bit of hay made on our farm here just coming into last weekend. Now, unfortunately, it, again, due to circumstances between coronavirus and different things going on here at home and that, it wasn't for ourselves this year, so I actually said it to a neighbour of ours who, you know, who's going to take it. He's a man that we as a family have had dealings with for certainly the whole of my lifetime and probably before it, and I would hope that that is something that will continue as we go on. But what else have I got to tell you? Oh yeah, whatever about not being in the shed for a few days due to everything that was going on, I actually, to my utmost heartbreak, didn't actually make it over to see the hay being baled myself last week. The video which we posted last night was totally down to Susie, I have to say, and I actually can't thank her enough, because it just gave me some sense of being close to the action, even though it broke my heart not being there. But anyway, to take it back to the here and now, so to speak, just by way of a trial run, I was actually working on my phone, writing a bit for the website, there whilst having a cup of tea and delicious cream bun. I don't know where my mother got them, but they're gorgeous. We have had a bit of a setback on the vegetable side, and I'm going to get that out of the way before I go on to give you the good news. Setback is that about 2, possibly 3 weeks ago now, the time was going that quick. We had to bring in some of the plants which we had outside, because if you go back to some of our older garden and vegetable related videos, you will have seen that we had awful trouble trying to get a second greenhouse set up, and in the finish I regret to say we've had to abandon the project for now anyway. And the few bits of crops that we intended putting into said second greenhouse have had to be forgone. Actually, when my good lady comes back over to the shed from the house, what we are going to do is I am unfortunately going to have to well, if it was in a field you'd be saying plough up, but we're going to have to sort of dig up what we put down in the pots, and you know, put whatever bits did grow into our composting bin. I'll have a bit of news on that front in a moment. And what we are going to do is just see if there's any crops that we could sow now that might come to fruition maybe a little later in the year. What I do know is I have a later crop of potatoes which are doing alright, but that leads me on to my good news that any of you that followed This Disabled Life on Instagram will have seen over the weekend where we actually harvested our first crop of potatoes, which were the very first crop we sold when beginning this vegetable farming operation, if you want to call it that. The squeaking you're hearing is the footplate on my wheelchair, which needs a very bad dose of WD-40, which I might actually do when I'm in here, seeing as how it's in the cabinet over there. But yes, we harvested our first crop of potatoes on Friday evening. Now, I will hold my hands up and admit that when I was sowing them, I didn't realise they were baby potatoes, but so it turned out to be. Now, I know some of the onlookers in the family, and indeed my good lady herself, was a little bit taken aback when she seen them, because I don't think any of us realised that they were baby potatoes. But what I can tell you is, and again I refer you to This Disabled Life on Instagram, anyone that would have seen my post there from a couple of hours ago would have seen that we actually had the first crop, we had the first dinner, I suppose you could say, out of the first crop. Well, that is to say, there was 4 dinners taken off. There was myself and Susie and my mum and my brother, who happens to be here this evening as well. Now, whether there's any of them left or whether that's them all used up, I don't know, but what I can tell you is they were absolutely delicious, and no, that is not me being biased or fantasist, because I can tell you that unfortunately the pepper sauce we got to go along with the bit of steak we had just to celebrate using our own spuds was absolutely rotten, but that's neither here nor there. So I tell you, it was a great sense of satisfaction and achievement at getting our first homegrown crop to fruition, and actually what would you say, onto farm to fork, as they say, getting to the dinner table and having them not only taste well to ourselves, but be well received by our other dinner partakers, if you want to call it that. Now, I know I may have sort of hinted at this to some degree over the last while, but anything we do as regards veg farming this year will and is and will be only a stepping stone for where we want to go with this operation, in that I am already putting together tentative plans for to expand what we're doing and see where we can take the operation to. What I can tell you for now is that I have a bigger 20 litre knapsack sprayer ordered, because some of you may have seen in the earlier videos an area which I refer to as the jungle outside my office window. Now, last week or the week before, I would have also mentioned that around the whole place needs a good spraying again with Roundup, because the weeds are taking off like I don't know what. If some of the vegetables grows quick, I'd be delighted. But so we've got the knapsack sprayer in first and foremost to tidy up around the place. Most importantly, from my point of view anyway, to spray off the jungle, because I do have expansion plans for that in mind for next year as well. And it even just come into my head today that over around the main farmyard where the hay, some of you would have seen the haymaking video last week, over around there needs a good spraying and tidying up as well. So before the depths of the winter comes in, I would hope to spend a bit of time over there and get it cleaned up. Whether, I don't know what use it's going to be put in the short term, but there are opportunities and options there. For now, I'm after rambling on long enough. I am going to finish my cup of tea and eat this cream bun, and as I said to you all there a while ago, we'll deal with the crop losses here in the shed and plot and plan a little bit of what we'll do next, and I will talk to you all soon. in Boylan Talk Sport HQ. Or outside it even. Is there a cover on the blade? Is there?
No, the blade's here, look. Oh.
Now we have it. Now the blade is... Oh. Hi folks, you join me out in the yard. Well, when I say you join me, you join both of us out in the yard. We are just seeing, will a hacksaw in fact cut timber? And it won't, so the sooner the better I finally get a bushman saw organised, the better. We have made at least 2 attempts at it already, which have unfortunately failed abysmally, and we light the fire for a bit. We may chop a bit of timber first.
Back out in a minute.
Okay. Yeah, well, I'll go in here and sure I can waffle on a bit when waiting for you to come out. And here we are, folks, on the way in the door with the lights now on and the whole works. As you can see now, there's actually one of the roof lights has sort of caved in. Well, not caved in, just stopped working, but I imagine we'll get that sorted in a day or two. But actually, what am I saying about the roof light not working? Well, it's not working on the roof because we have moved it as a sort of work light for one side of the bench. Yes, I did have a couple of bottles of Heineken in here again this evening. It's becoming a bit of a new tradition, and one I'm not too upset about at all, I have to say. So, as I was saying, yes, the light that came down off the roof because the sticking agent just came off it, is now in position as a work light, and this is actually the other work light, if you want to call it that. That other bottle of Heineken was not mine. I had Declan, my handyman extraordinaire, in with me again this evening. That other work light is actually mobile. It's run on again what I would call ordinary batteries, and we have it there for now. I will eventually figure out where it is placed to best advantage for actually doing something. After a while, we had actually intended to be out a bit earlier than turned out to be the case. It is now, God, it must be heading on for 9 o'clock, I'd say, at this stage. But we got held up to the locker on here at home at the moment. But what we have managed to do, you may have guessed by the fact that I said myself and Declan had a few bottles of beer earlier on. We were doing another little bit of work earlier on this evening, as a result of which we now have the tool stroke bits and bobs storage unit up in place. We got the we actually found a couple of roll plugs after I had finished videoing yesterday evening, but there wasn't enough to hold it up, so Declan brought a few of them out of our, well, I like to call it my workplace, out of the rehab centre, and we have it up. So myself and Susie have just spent the last while filling the storage trays, if you want to call them that, up. We have nuts and bolts and screws and tape and tying wire, and on the bottom couple of the bottom three drawers, if you want to call them that, are actually very interesting, because I'm going to just try and move in a bit because my arm is tired holding the phone. But the bottom three drawers are, now I could call it arts and crafts, but I wouldn't exactly call it that, even though it may end up being something like that. But what we have is we have acrylic paints and acrylic paint brushes and the smaller type of paints. Now, I wouldn't have seen brushes like this since I was in school. Oh, Jesus. I finished primary school 26 years ago, so that'll tell you how long ago it is since I seen a bit of that sort of paint. But I tell you what we will do, I am going to look for poster paint, because I have a few ideas to brighten the place up a bit even more, and to overlap what I hope will be two businesses between my writing end of things and the vegetable farming or whatever else we might get up to out here. But for now, as we are here on our own, we decided it was enough of a summary type evening ish, as my good lady says, to light our log burner. Now, what's actually crackling in the fire there were actually calf rails. There were rails off a calf gate that we took out when the shed renovation job was just beginning. Now, I don't know if I mentioned this already. We bought this log burner, it's heading for 3 months ago now. But this is only the second time we have got to light it since we bought it, because the weather has been bloody awful. Now, as nights go, it's not exactly a scorcher by any means, but seeing as how the opportunity arose to light it for a few minutes, sure, why the hell wouldn't we? And my good lady is obviously able to read my mind, because before I even mentioned going in to get a couple of bottles of beer, she has already come up with the idea herself, and the dog wants to come over and have a look too, but we'll have to save him for another night, I think. He might get a little bit excited when he's seen it, so we leave him there for now. But sure, we'll go out and we'll stay out rather, not go out. We'll stay out and
it does look crazy at first when we light it, and it does calm down. In case people are like, "Oh my God, that's..."
And it's only crackling that bad because of
a bit of wet wood and
because
stuff
of what's in it. As I say,
it does calm down. It's just
it was
a lot of wood.
it was a batten of a calving gate. So it's a fairly thick, fairly old bit of timber, and that's why it's given out so much about burning. But it will settle down after a while. And of course, in the long term, if it was a thing that you could collect enough ash is actually very good as a fertilizer. So it could be reploughed back into other parts of the operation and the whole works if needs be. But while the evening is still half decent and before it gets too cold, I am going to sign off for now and have a bottle of beer with my good lady soon to be wife, and I will talk to you all. Yes, bud, hello. You're with us this evening. Here, come here till we get you on the interweb. The security department have just come in to say hello for the evening. Buddy, come here and we'll see you on the television. Look at him sniffing around the chair to see where the women's do sit. We have the house to ourselves here at the moment, so Mr. Buddy is actually getting a little bit more freedom than what he normally would, but no, Bud, you don't have to bring the rubbish out. He's recovering from... Oh. Now he's just after finding his bag of treats and eating the whole lot of them, I think. But I was just saying there, he's getting more freedom than what he usually does because myself and Susie are here on our own for a couple of nights. But I suppose we'd have to look after him because he is recovering from a cruciate ligament injury. Now, how a dog gets a cruciate ligament injury, your guess is as good as mine, but we reckon it was he got a wash here one time not so long ago, and when he came out after being washed, he took off far too fast and skidded on the floor, and he actually howled as if he was after breaking a leg, and I'll be honest with you, we actually thought he sort of did for a while, but as you can see, he's back to his cheeky, bold self again. Well, he's not bold, he's a good old thing, but he's too nosy for his own good. But sure, we'll have to sneak him back out now and clean the place up because it's a bit late in the day and we just want to lock the place up at this stage. But sure, please God, you will get more used to seeing his royal dogginess in our videos and on the website as we go on. And sure, from as they used to say on. Whoa, we're back again. And he's going to do his usual trick of sit down beside me as he thinks to himself. He thinks to himself, if I sit beside him, I won't get thrown out. And himself and Susie are now having their usual game of cat and mouse to try and get him out. Buddy, the nice people love seeing you, but you have to go to bed, bud. Now, looking at me won't help your cause at all. Oh, he's now.
He's not even going outside today.
No, he's going out to his own little apartment. Yes, you do have an apartment all to yourself, don't you? Which was originally an entrance to my office until you came along and took it over. Once he sees a bit of ham, though, there he is gone with Susie for the night. And on that note, I log out for the night as well. And sure, I will talk to you all soon.